Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Million Dollar Body Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Nate, and here I'm joined by Kevin Belzer, aka The Closer. Kevin is probably one of the most consistent people I've ever met, not only in terms of the training that I see him do on a weekly basis, with his physical training, but also just in terms of his own business as a real estate agent here in Phoenix. The content he produces is hilarious and awesome, and he's just someone that I really admire for his ability to continue on and always be trying new things. And he's also a published author. Kevin's just the best. Welcome, Kevin. Glad you're here, man.
Thanks for having me, Nate.
Yeah. So I want to hear a little bit about today. I want to talk about your business. I want to talk about your book, which is called Dad's Rules. Dad's Rules number 2 is coming out end of this year. And that one's called Get Off My Lawn.
Yeah.
Don't make me get the gun. I forget what the name of it is.
Yeah, the next one will be called Dad's Rules, Get Off My Lawn.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Yep.
And you're also, we've been working together since December, right? Early December, and you've lost
17.
A little over 20 pounds now?
Right about 20 pounds.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Now I'm gaining like a Captain America strength.
That's right. That's right. That's what we're using the quarantine for. It's
Yeah.
just pure strength gain.
Yep.
So Kevin, one thing I really admire about you is that when I'm looking at like the app where we're tracking your workouts and stuff, I can look at a calendar, right? And I can look at my calendar of your workouts since December, and every single one of those shows green, which means that not only did you complete it, you also checked it off, and you were like, yes, this workout is good for me.
I work very well off of a task list.
Okay. So how does this fall into your task list? Where does this go in order of importance with like your business, your family, everything else you have going on, your writing?
I think that fitness, what I've learned through this journey so far is that fitness is like the foundation of it all. Because if you get right with the body, then you become right with the mind and everything else. So
how have you noticed that like playing into some of the aspects of your business, your mind, your writing, and everything else?
That's a great question. Well, I mean, I just feel that I have more energy. I think that's the big takeaway from it. Yeah, because I'd gotten away from the fitness thing for quite a while and just become Fat Kevin. And it was time to get back in shape. And I like the discipline of it. It's not overwhelming. You know, I see the progress. 20 pounds in 4 months is about a pound a week. That's fine. I mean, I told you when I started that was really all my target was. I wasn't looking for anything crazy. So it's something attainable, achievable, and yeah.
How long are you working out on every day, basically? Aside from the walks, I know you've been doing a lot of walks recently.
Yeah, the workouts take 20 to 30 minutes, somewhere in there, no more than 30 minutes. And then, yeah, you mentioned the walks. I do them probably, anywhere from 4 to 7 days a week, just depends on my work schedule. And those are about 75-minute walk, 5 miles.
Nice. Do you have a path you like, or you just kind of just go wherever?
I do. We have a great community park, so I just walk around that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So as a real estate agent, Kevin, you wear a lot of hats, right? Not only are you in charge of your own like marketing, and by the way, your videos for when you're marketing your clients' houses are the best. Kevin will literally jump into a pool wearing a full suit to help his clients sell their houses.
Yep.
I got to say, I appreciate that.
Yep. There's a pool one we're shooting this next week, and I will be in the pool again.
Absolutely. Well, now it's going to be nice. Now it's going to be like 80 in the pool.
You know, the first time I jumped in a pool, it was February and it was cold. And I refused to touch the water before I jumped in because I didn't want it to spook me.
That's right. You just got to go. You just got to jump in.
Yeah.
How does the suit help you? Does that help you stay like warmer in the pool? I don't know.
No, it just weighs you down. And of course, the very first one, it was 12 feet deep. and I'm yelling to the side. I'm like, Phil, come on, I'm sinking here.
Yeah, I'd like to sell this house. I would also prefer not to drown today.
Yep. It's also changed my wardrobe prep. I buy 2 of everything so I can jump in the pool and the outfit and then go change. And we're back to shooting the video. And
back on video.
Yep.
That's awesome. So do you feel like Now, consistency seems like a strength of yours. Has it always been? Have you always been someone to be like, give me the task and I will check the boxes?
No, and I think that that's a learning lesson for a lot of agents. Well, any job really is that you've got to figure out what are your most important tasks. It took me a long time just to narrow down what really mattered that I needed to be doing and what I could delegate off to others. I used to wear every single hat, every task. Now I just simply don't do that anymore. There are things that aren't my job, and I let those professionals go do their job.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that stay in your lane mentality can really make your life a lot better.
Yeah, in real estate, it's down to prospecting for clients, it's doing appointments, and it's negotiations. And after that, have an assistant for everything else.
So what was your process for like kind of figuring that out? Because I know that a lot of us either, a lot of people in the Million Dollar Body group here are entrepreneurs. There are a lot of real estate agents, people in that real estate field. People though who have crazy schedules and wear a lot of hats. Like, what advice would you give someone or like yourself 5, 10 years ago when you were figuring all this out?
I'd say write down everything that you do in your job. Doesn't matter what it is, write it all down, list it all out, and then pick your top three that are your job. And don't go beyond that, just three. Those three are yours. Everything past that, give to somebody else, give to an assistant. Or what I've learned during quarantine time is that some of the things that I was still doing, I should have got rid of a long time ago. I've gotten
Not
even
even
more
not even outsourced, but just gotten rid of, just fully chopped.
yeah, fully like, why am I doing this? It's like, yeah, this may have been relevant 10 years ago, but this doesn't matter anymore. Because,
Mm.
as tech has evolved, you got to realize some of that stuff may have been doing before, just it's not important.
Got it. So it sounds like you're saying not only pick the top 3 things that you should be doing, but pick a few things that are like that absolutely do not do list,
Yeah,
and then just push those off to the side as well.
absolutely. Don't even delegate them, just get rid of them entirely.
Okay. I know like for a fact that I'm doing stuff that I have no business doing, and that I just have done through habit or because I was supposed to at some point, right?
We all are. And I think that I tend to look at the COVID-19 lockdown from the positive aspect and go, that if you took the time to analyze what you were doing in your life, whether it was work or personal, and focus on what was really important, you could learn a lot from this. And like I said before, what I found is that there was things that I simply shouldn't have been doing, and there was stuff that I am doing that I could take it up a level. So like we've shot videos during this time, we've done listing appointments during this time because the governor said that we're essential, expendable, sacrificial. I'm not.
One of the three for
It was
sure.
one of the three. I'm not sure which one it was, but anyway, he said that we're essential, so we kept working. Well, what I wanted to do is go, okay, well, how can I better service these people inside those top three things?
So
Level up in essence.
yeah, so take the things that you're going to be doing and then be really good at them rather than really average at a bunch of stuff.
Absolutely.
I think that's an awesome idea and piece of advice, no matter what industry you're in, right? Because I feel like as we get more technologically advanced, we become more niche demographic. People are no longer looking for a jack of all trades, right? They want someone who's very, very specifically can solve their exact problem right now better than anyone else, right?
Yep. Yep. And we have to continually making ourselves better. It's the world's going to continue to evolve. And you mentioned like we do the videos. Well, even with the videos, each time we do one, we're like, okay, how can we make the next one even better?
I have one word for you: explosions.
uh, I won't deny that may be a possibility in the future. I will not out and out say no to any idea.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Especially after if you're like your recent filming for the covers of your next book, right? I heard that there was some explosions involved in that photo shoot.
There will be a tricycle on fire.
Mm.
There'll be lawn jarts. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. That one, we're hiring a professional photographer that does like rock albums. So we're going all out on the next one. I'm like, okay, how can I take the first book and up it yet again another level?
I love that. And for you, if you guys are you guys just listening to the podcast and you're not watching this video, behind Kevin is, if a conservative estimate would probably be like 3,600 CDs, which stands for compact disc, on the wall behind him, a compilation of 14 years of collection. So, Kevin, you're no stranger to rock albums, I would assume.
No, you're close though. I think there's just over 4,000. We're in the digital age now, so I've definitely slowed down on the buying. But
You can get them for pretty cheap now, right? People are just like, I don't know what to do with this anymore. Just
it depends. I mean, a lot of stuff can be pretty rare, so it can cost.
Gotcha. So for someone else who's maybe just starting this, like either a weight loss journey or just starting to build their real estate business, or maybe they're just starting a book, and I feel like you can speak on all those big giant projects. What advice would you give to someone to help them take it slow and get sustainable results?
Yeah, you're looking for little gains. So like you've spoken about this in past podcasts. You're not looking, like if it took you 10 years to put on 50 pounds, you're not losing it in 1 week, one workout. It's going to take you a long time. And I would be perfectly happy if you had to lose 50 pounds if it took you 50 weeks to do it, 1 pound a week. Same thing with any task you're doing. You're looking for little gains. You're never going to make $1 million in real estate on one sale. It's just simply not going to happen. It's going to take little chunks. And even an agent looking to make 100,000 a year, it's not one deal. It's a lot. It could be 20, it could be 30 deals before you hit $100,000. So you have to look at it that you're just trying to progress yourself forward in little gains. You're not trying to hit the home run. It's you don't hit 75 home runs in one swing of the bat.
That's a really good point and a great metaphor too. Because I think that like that exact mentality is going to help keep you on point, help keep you driving forward, rather than having the expectation of this instant, spectacular, massive results, and then being disappointed or frustrated when you don't get that. When the book's not written after 2 weeks, when your business isn't launched and like generating 6 figures, when you haven't dropped 20 pounds in 2 weeks. So that's really good advice, Kevin.
Yeah. So even when I wrote my first book, I broke it down to 13 weeks. And that way I had a target of an end date, because I still believe an end date is important, but I wasn't overwhelmed that, hey, I've got to knock this out in 7 days. I have 13 weeks to get through 3 drafts, a final edit on the book, figure out the cover art, all that 13-week span. Now that works because my book was only going to be around 130 to 150 pages. Just, if you got a longer book, obviously a little bit longer time, but still set an end target for everything, but don't expect everything to happen day one. And I think that in anything, that's where we get frustrated, is when we don't step on that scale the next day after we killed ourselves the day before on a workout and we didn't lose 20 pounds. It's not a realistic expectation.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think that like that Amazon Prime mentality that a lot of us have, where we can just press a button and have something show up on our doorstep in like 24 hours, is kind of getting in, like it's ingraining itself in our mentality, right? And humans are not patient. We're not a patient species. We're not like a crocodile, right? We're not going to just sit there and wait for something to happen.
Absolutely not. It's like you ever order something on Amazon, you're like, what do you mean I can't get it for a week?
Yeah.
You're like, I thought I got Prime.
Well, I mean, even with this, like the COVID thing, it's like, well, okay, we might be a little bit delayed. And you're like, 4 days? I paid for Prime.
You're like, I want to watch Harry Potter tomorrow.
And I don't want to watch it on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
But I think what you said about setting the expectation of like, hey, I've got 50 pounds to lose. Let's get this done in 50 weeks and then break it down. Okay, 50 weeks, now it's a pound a week. We'll have 130 pages, and it'll give me 13 weeks. That's 10 pages per week, which means I got to write about 1.25 page per day. And then when you think about it like that, it's not so hard. It's not an insurmountable cliff face. It's like a slow and steady grade where you just have to take that one step every single day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
you don't have to sell 6 houses. You just have to go film that one video.
Correct. Take it down to the task that you're currently working on, and you're blocking to that moment. You're not focused on, okay, I've got 3 more shoots. What I do is I focus on that one shoot, and all my mental energy is on that one house that I'm at, so I can get that as close to perfection as possible, because that's what I owe the client.
I love that. That's just being present and not even letting those other things that you might be thinking about that you have on your to-do list that are important come in front of you and supersede what you're currently doing, what you're currently in the middle of.
Right.
Now, it sounds like you also have a great, some good strategies around time blocking and making sure that you do have time for the things that are important to you. It really stood out to me when you said you took 75-minute walks, because I feel like there's a lot of people who are going to be like, excuse me, I don't have 75 extra minutes. How do you find the time for those important tasks, Kevin?
Well, I definitely do time block everything. So for my job, for example, all my calls are done between 9 and noon every day. So I start at 9. If I'm done at 10, I'm done at 10. The appointments, just whatever those are scheduled for. So like tomorrow, for example, I have a 10 a.m. appointment. Well, I know the appointment's I'm going to time block 2 hours for that appointment. I may not need the full 2 hours, but I'm going to have a time blocked for that. So I just time block everything down on it. And just, Darren Hardy talks about planning your week out in advance. Well, what I learned a long time ago is that's one part of it, but the other part is now go down to your individual day and what tasks do you have to do. So in real estate, I have to make follow-up calls and prospecting calls. So I only do those in the morning and I don't deviate from it. And then I do appointments in the afternoon. Well, by doing this, I keep shrinking the amount of time that I'm working. And I think where agents, for example, get bogged down is that we don't time block. And we go, okay, I need to make these calls. And then we get sidetracked looking at Facebook, looking at Twitter, whatever, everything else, rather than focus on making the phone calls and just getting through the task.
That's really good. The idea of setting it down and executing on that. Now, do you have your phone out like with you? Because I know a lot of times I'm like, okay, time block, 30 minutes, do this thing. What about Instagram though? Like, I just kind of like those things just kind of get distracted. I've got to touch the red number. I have to touch it.
It can be. Like me personally, I've shut off all notifications. So on my phone, I don't get any notifications. So that's been a huge time saver right there. I highly recommend it. I get it. It's addictive. You can go on Facebook and 45 minutes have passed and you're like, where'd the 45 minutes go? And what did I accomplish? I've gotten pretty sneaky as far as when I post. People think that I'm on and I'm not really on. I'll just post and leave. So that's something else. Like I posted this afternoon about a photo of a hiking trail by a home that we just listed. And I was on and off as long as it took for the photo to go online. So it's just a discipline thing for that. Social media there's pros and cons to social media. I don't look at it as evil or good. It's just another tool. And it's just, how do you use that tool?
Yeah, by browsing memes about the coronavirus. For me personally.
Today everything's about Star Wars.
Yeah, and giant murder hornets, but
Oh yeah.
Welcome to level 5 of Jumanji. Glad you're here. So Kevin, when you're trying to build this muscle and build this consistency, how do your workouts fit into that? Are those scheduled out in advance as well? Do you fit them in kind of around your day? Do they always go in the morning?
They don't. They do move based on how the day is going to be. Like today, I knew that I had tasks in the morning and I had a gap in the afternoon, so that's when they happened. And then I knew that we were talking, and then after this, I have to do something for a client, and then I'm off for a walk. So it's all just blocked out where everything's going to fit in.
Do you do that the night before?
Sometimes, and sometimes I just do it first thing in the morning.
Okay.
There's no rhyme or I'd love to tell you, yes, I'm very disciplined. It's every night. It's this, but I mean, I do have a client management system that I use that tells me what calls I have to make the next day. So I just dumb frog my way through life. I know when I wake up, I've got to make these calls. So I do check the night before to see how the day is playing out with that. And then I mentally calculate how much time it's going to take to get through them.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that I've gotten away from it a little bit, but the previous night, going in and kind of setting the schedule, setting your intention for the next day, has always been, every time I do it, I'm like, whoa, why did I stop doing this? It's so good.
Yeah, and so I have the CRM that tells me with client stuff, but then to manage the rest of my day, I do have a day planner that I use that maps out everything. So down to the appointments and the follow-up. So it's also handwritten as well.
Okay. You're a handwritten calendar guy. You're not like a Google calendar.
No, I'm handwritten all the way. I won't use that. The only thing that'll ever be on there is a dentist appointment that's 4 months out that I need a reminder the day before.
Gotcha.
But beyond that, nope, not happening.
Well, I like that you found your own method that works for you, right? Because some people are like, oh no, you have to do that on Sundays, and Sundays from 4:45 to 4:48, that's when you schedule for the week. And you're like, whoa, that's a little more intense than I can personally handle at the moment. So I like that you're not trying to say, hey, it has to be at this time.
No,
You're like, I do it sometimes at night, sometimes in the morning, but you always do it.
Yep. You just got to find what works for you and do it. It's just that simple. It's like, I don't try to preach that this is the definitive way to get through your day. What each of us has to find out what works. And for some people, it's going to be managing their whole day on a phone. And for others, it's going to be like I do, write it down. Just the whole point is just to get through the day and make sure everything was taken care of.
Yeah, and if you can check it all off at the end of the day, you're like, man, I got accomplished a lot. It feels really good, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love it when the last task of the workday is done.
Mm-hmm. And then how, like, I know we've been scheduling your workouts in like 4-week chunks, essentially. You're kind of going through a 4-week program, and then we're upgrading it, making it a little bit more difficult. How do you feel on that last week of your workouts, like on week 4 of 4?
That's a great question. So the first week, I'm like, what the hell did Nate do to me? But the thing is that by the end, it's like there's some things that just aren't that hard anymore. As you get through each week that goes through, it gets easier and easier. And I will admit I've had times to where I've added extra in to it. We get around that because I'm like, I need a little bit more. And so I'll just change the rep counts, and I always bump it up. I never bump down. But yeah, it is cool seeing the progress through when you get to the 4th week and you're like, man, I can do a ninja get up. There's something pretty cool because I couldn't do one of those when I was 14. And now I'm like, man, I'm 48 and I can do a ninja get up. That's pretty cool. Takes me like 12 tries to get one, but I can still do it.
I was going to talk about your tuck holds and your ninja get ups because I feel like I like to put in those tasks, those exercises that stretch you, right? We tried with the handstand and we weren't quite there yet, but I like giving you things that are on day 1. You look at them and you're like, no chance, never going to happen. Why would you even say this to me?
Well, yeah, I went from with the tuck hold, I went from 3 seconds and I'd fall over to now I'm at like 35 to 40 seconds per time. So yeah, it's come a long way. So like I said, it's the Captain America strength is kicking in.
Yeah. And then just that one foot in front of the other mentality I feel like it will serve you so well in terms of training. I know training pretty well, that I just know that someone with your mentality around like the workouts and just getting it in, even on those days when you don't really feel like it, you just get in there and punch the clock and check that box.
Yeah.
You can't be beaten. You have no choice but to succeed, Kevin. And I just really appreciate that about you.
Well, it's funny because it's like, okay, so when people hire me, they hire me for my expertise. And when I hired you for your expertise. So I'm staying in my lane and I'm going to trust Nate's workouts and just do that. And I'm going to get the results in the end.
I love that. And there's a lot of people, like myself included, who overthink everything. And like, I'll get a coach who tells me to do something and I'm like, but have you read the book by Donald Miller? And they're like, yeah, this is just a little different than that. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to try to sell my own house. How about that?
Yeah.
But I think that stay in your lane mentality is awesome, right? Outsource everything that you're not an expert at, and then just move really powerfully for those top 3 things. I think that's brilliant advice, Kevin. I really appreciate you taking some time to come give that to us. That's awesome.
No problem.
Well, man, I really just want to say thanks again for taking some time out of your day and your life to come on. Oh, glad we got the cat appearance in the podcast.
Yeah,
Gotta have it.
somebody let him in while I was on. So because the door was shut. I've not been a guest on a podcast yet where he does not interrupt it.
That's perfect. You got to keep that going. It's really important. And
Absolutely.
if artificially even is fine. Kevin, anything you want to leave us with? Any hot thoughts? Anything you're gonna get on a soapbox about right now?
We're seeing a lot of soapbox stuff with the whole COVID thing. I will give you the best piece I can give that I've told every appointment I've been out there. I don't know how this is going to look when it's over. I'm not Nostradamus, but I am a positive person. So I'm just going to take it from, it's like, look, we have a great opportunity here to be better than we were. And I have seen a lot of positive out of this, and that's just what I focused on. We get inundated with the negative all the time. We have the opportunity here to just figure out a way just to be better out of all this, and I love it. I think that's just awesome.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that you gave some actually positive, actionable tips at the beginning of the podcast, talking about take those 3 things and figure out how you can really double down and do what your area of genius is. Be awesome at those things, and then let everything else go. And if all that comes out of this COVID dilemma we're in right now is you get a chance to step back from normal life, take that breath, and then reestablish kind of your life by design, like your job by design, get into a better fitness habit, even if you're only working out at home.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take those positive things and run with them.
Absolutely.
Awesome, Kevin. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate everything. We'll talk to you very soon.
All right. Sounds good.